day. Hey, Kratz, I found Todd Father on his birthday. Oh, no, wait. That's John Henry, Red Sox owner, celebrating a victory with a little victory cigar in the cigar room, the billionaire cigar room, the Red Sox owner. Like, let me bring out my finest Cuban. Todd Father, is that what you did last night for your birthday?
No cigars. Had a good night. Went to a nice steakhouse, Center Steakhouse in Point Pleasant Beach, and killed two birds with one stone. Took my wife out for Valentine's Day too. So I got the weekend to hang out and do some stuff with the kids. So really nice.
Oh, that was like that double bouquet action right there, Kratz. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Two birds with one stone. I'm sure that made her feel romanced. Hey, I'm just going to go bang this Valentine's Day out with my birthday. Don't worry about it. Why don't you get a second steak, babe? This is your Valentine's Day.
It was her idea, though, so it worked out well.
That's great. I like that. Hey, AJ, this is always what I envision. I envision a cocktail in hand, too, but it's late night because every deal with Scott Boras clients happens either on a weekend or past 10 p.m. So the chances of cigar and or alcohol involvement is higher. And that picture is exactly how I pictured in my head. Screw it. Go the extra 10 mil. Let's get this done.
About time. It's about time for both of them. For the Red Sox. Red Sox Nation can be happy now. And now Bregman's off the board, so we can move on to talking about something else. So it makes me happy. It makes me happy because, I said yesterday, like, can we just get him to sign already? Because, we went Juan Soto, and then we went Sasaki, and then we were Bregman. And it was like, yeah, geez, guys, come on. Like, let's get this. I know we do the show every day because of it, but at the same time, I am just like, all right, like, let's get these done.
That's what it's for. So now you're happy, but now we have to spend about half hour talking about it. So let's charge a damn mound.
Charging the mound.
All right. So since you were so excited about it, AJ, when you woke up this morning, what did you think? The Boston Red Sox in on Alex Bregman, but actually signed Alex Bregman. Were you surprised to be able to say both sentences?
Well, no, this is one of the places we thought about, right? It was Detroit, Boston, Houston were kind of the three. Now, the thing that made it complicated that we kept saying about Boston was they have a third baseman in Devers. They have a first baseman they're counting on in Casas. So where's he going to play? So do we know if Bregman's going to play second base? Because if he goes to third base, then they got to figure out what to do with Devers. If they put him at DH, then what do they do with Yoshida, who's in left field? There's a lot of moving pieces here. So it's a great signing for the Red Sox. It's great for Alex Bregman. He got paid, which is crazy. He got paid a lot of money, and we're gonna ask that question. But $40 million. That's usually a guy that's a superstar on the elite level. Is Alex Bregman that guy for the Red Sox? I'm gonna ask Pap that question. Does he change the division for the Red Sox? Because for that amount of money, you should be changing divisions. I think
it's 30.
No, what do you mean 30?
Buster Olney came out and said deferrals are going to make it more like 390. We haven't gotten the exact as of this moment, but it sounds like it's going to be heavily deferred to be more like a 390 in present day value. So is he worth a 30 over 3 years? I think that's
different. But everywhere I was seeing reported was 3,120.
It is 3,120 each year. It is opt-outs after each year.
He's still making $40 million. He's still making $40 million a year. I don't care.
Yeah, but then is Ohtani making 700, or is he making 450?
He's eventually going to get 700. Yes.
Right, but you could invest and then make the same amount. We've played this game before. He's getting 30, at least according to that first report. We'll see if other people put the same thing out there, but it at least makes it a little more palatable if it's 30 a year, doesn't it?
And he's a great player. I just want to ask Pap because he's coming on today. He's Mr. Red Sox. Is this a division changing move for the Red Sox? And if he says yes, listen, this isn't a knock on Alex Bregman. This is just the way it is. Alex Bregman got paid what he was worth because that's what someone paid him. So good for you, Alex. You're a hell of a player. I hope it works out for you and the Red Sox.
And for the Red Sox, Todd Father, there were still talks about them being a 4th or 5th place team. So this certainly helps the cause. Do you think that they've done enough to catch up to the Yankees and the Orioles?
I do. I was always I had the Orioles in the back burner here. I always thought the Red Sox were that team. They picked up Crochet. They picked up, a couple other guys, and now they got another big gun here. We don't know where he's going to play, of course, but he can still do it. I mean, he played with the Astros with the small park in left field, the Crawford boxes. He's got the monster over there. He's going to be crushing that wall day in and day out. I think if you're a Boston Red Sox fan, you're really excited, and I think you're going to make some noise even more now, going into the season. Yeah, I have them definitely ahead of the Orioles. I had them ahead of the Orioles before this. So I can see the Red Sox making a lot more noise. They've had the Yankees number the last couple of years, so it's going to be very interesting to see how far they go.
They have had the Yankees number the last few years. I'd have to go back and look at that. I didn't know that, but I still have them. I still have them in third place. I guess I'm just the third placeman, but I have them a lot closer. You know who I have them? You know who I have them going above? Is the other teams that are going for the wild card race. I have them pushing those teams. You put Bregman at second, I don't see how they play. I don't see how they play Bregman at third. Bregman came up as a shortstop. I saw him the first time I ever saw him play was at shortstop. Obviously, they were fine during that time, Correa and then Pena, and he solidified himself as a third baseman. But at the very beginning of the offseason, he said, I'm willing to go to second base. I wonder if that was the fact that Alex Cora called him as soon as he was a free agent. And Cora was like, hey, I got you some signs. I'll get you a contract if you want to come and play at second base. We can run it back. We can run it back here in Boston. That's just what we're going to
do. Okay. A few layers here. Number one for me on the position side, AJ, because you kicked this off and then Kratz just punched in too. I'm going Bregman at third for the majority. He's the best defensive third baseman in the American League. Rafael Devers is signed long-term. He barely ever talks. I've known Rafi since he was a kid, basically. He does not like to talk much to the media or do anything publicly, but he did say one thing last spring training, paraphrasing. He was pretty disappointed in the state of the franchise. So you would think for a guy that's locked up long-term, if you go to him and say, hey, dude, we're going to DH you a lot because Bregman's a stud at third base and he's just much better than you defensively, he would say, okay, if it's going to help us win games, let's do this. So we're looking at a projected lineup from Fangraphs that has Bregman at second base. But in my mind, if Christian Campbell is ready to go at second, plus they do have some depth with Vaughn Grissom, who still could be a solid player for the Red Sox, I'm going Bregman at third, AJ. Yoshida, I guess you can try and eat most of the money and trade him away or be a bat off the bench. But for me, a lot of DH, Devers, Costas at first. If someone gets hurt, then obviously it makes everything easier. That's what I'm doing. What are you doing?
It's a tough situation, man. It's a tough situation. Bregman, Devers defense, we know he's worked on it. Hasn't gotten to be great. Costas, we just don't know what he's going to get. You're going to get because he's been banged up, especially last year. He was always banged up. So do you make the move? Do you go to Rafi Devers and say, hey, we're a better team with you as a DH? And will he accept it? Because he's only, 26 years old? That's a hard position to put somebody in and say, hey, you're the permanent DH for the rest of your career because he signed to that long-term deal. So I don't know. Alex Cora's got some work to do. I know Alex Bregman makes them a better team no matter where he plays, but I just don't think that they're going to move Devers to DH right now. I think Bregman will at least start the year at second because I don't think Campbell will start the year on the big league team.
Agreed. And I think the overall package of Devers at third, Bregman at second, Bregman's upgrade over Vaughn Grissom, upgrade over keeping Yoshida as DH, who wasn't awful. He's not your prototypical banger American League DH that you're thinking of, but even Yoshida's, I think, has a better upside. Maybe there's some type of platoon advantage that you can grab there with Yoshida getting more at-bats against righties. But to me, that trifecta, unless Campbell really pushes the envelope, you go with Bregman right now. And then when injuries pop up, then you start shifting some guys. Guys start taking some ground balls at first. It's always easy to slide into DH, and Bregman has a whole spring at second. What's the worst that can happen? He just goes right back to third, which he's played for the last 6 years.
There could be an injury pretty soon at shortstop, too. I mean, no offense to Trevor Story, but he hasn't been able to stay on the field. So there are plenty of injury concerns. You have a shortstop who hasn't played much in the last few years. You have a first baseman who didn't play much last year. You're right. This might be a non-factor, but for me, AJ, the Red Sox are at their best when Alex Bregman's at third base. And for me, Rafael Devers is not necessarily being told you're a third baseman or you're a DH forever. He's being told you're a third baseman maybe for one season, or you're a DH, for one season, and then Bregman might opt out. No? Why you guys think this is a bad idea?
He's not. I don't think Bregman's going to opt out. He's going to have an unbelievable year to opt out. I know the opt-out's in there, but for him to opt out of this contract, he's going to have a great year. And if he does, so what? But once you make that move to DH, once you go to Rafi Devers and you say you're a permanent DH, it's really hard to go back to the field. It is really hard to go back to being an everyday fielder. That's why I don't think they're going to do it, especially at the beginning of the year. Now, if they get off to a rough start, or because I just don't, again, it goes back to I don't think Campbell's going to make the team. They're not going to have him break with the club. They're going to say, Alex, you have all spring to learn second base. Rafi, stay there. We still have Yoshida. We're not going to eat his money. That's the way they're going to break camp, unless something crazy happens, because they want to play Casas. They still love him. They still have Trevor Story. Rafaela can play. Duran can play. They'll figure it out. They have Abreu and Wright. That makes them a better team for me.
Yeah, and I think Casas this is a big year for him. He has to stay healthy for one, and he has to come and be the Tristan that we know he can be. I played with him at USA ball. He absolutely tore it up. I saw the potential there. This is a huge year for him. Dare I say a make or break it year. I don't know. He needs to come and play a lot and do some damage. And Jarren Duran, I always think of Jarren Duran, man. This kid is absolute stud. Having him lead off for that team and find a way to get on base, he's going to have over 70 steals this year if he keeps up and go out there and dominate. Just find a way to get on base. And Trevor Story, we brought him up. If he's healthy and can be somewhat of what he used to be, that's only going to help. It's going to be a fantastic year for the Red Sox. I see the potential in all these guys. Can they put it together? I think they can. And with the new pitching staff they got with a couple guys, I think they're going to be a really, really good team. Come end of spring training, we know everybody's there. Watch out for the Red Sox, man.
For sure. And I would love, and I'm going to ask Pap this, who had a higher OPS? Not OPS plus, I get it. OPS might not be the end-all, be-all. Yoshida or Alex Bregman?
Well, are you saying that because it was Yoshida? Tell us what the answer is.
Obviously got to be Yoshida,
Well,
otherwise you wouldn't ask the
question. Give us the numbers. Come on.
768 to 765. You're paying $130 million. You were looking to get rid of another one. To me, they signed Bregman. They actually save money because if they leave him at second, they don't need to get rid of Yoshida and eat his contract. So there's a way of getting everything. Yoshida's not lighting the world on fire, but if that's the case, and I know value is in Bregman with the glove, and you're losing some of that value moving him to second, but just saying, you gotta look at the numbers of what they've done recently too.
Bingo.
Also,
you are losing value when you move them.
Also, I'll say this. Bregman's value might not also be in the clubhouse. Alex Cora knows him. He's a guy that brings a different little energy. He brings a FU mentality a lot of times. If you watch him play, he plays with that. His plate discipline has always been great. So I think that's another thing that, yes, the numbers are the numbers, but I think sometimes there's things outside, and Alex Cora knows him as good as anybody other than probably AJ Hinch.
Hold up. I have a bone to pick. AJ, you said he's not going to opt out. He got a 6-year, $171.5 million offer from the Detroit Tigers. He is absolutely signing with Boston to opt out or to crush it this season and have them extend him and give him more money. Otherwise, he would have taken the Detroit deal unless he just so badly didn't want to go to Detroit and play there.
Yeah.
Why would you turn down that much more money if you're planning to stay in? Even if he stays for one more season after this, he really hurts his value in the free agent market because it's an age game when you're talking about the free agent market.
I agree. But I have if it's 120, like we've said, I have it. 120, the Cubs offered 120, right? The Tigers offered more years. So he's thinking, heck, I can get my 120 and the 3 if I stay, and then I can try to piece together the other 60 or 50 million because he'll still only be 33 years old at the end of that. So I think that's the play if it's me. But again, if Alex Bregman goes out and has a monster year, if he has the 756 OPS again. Do we think he's going to get 40 million or 30 million more on the open market another year removed?
We have to play present day value, though. We got to assume that it's 390. We have to play that game because that is the game. So 3 years, $90 million, $30 million per year if we're counting the deferral action that I read, and we'll see if everyone else confirms it. If that's the case, do you opt in for $60 million more, or do you hit the free agent market and try to beat that? He should be able to beat that easily if he puts together even what he did last year. If he puts together what he's done in previous seasons, it could be even better. But to me, Kratz, this deal was done because he's opting out after 1 year. Otherwise, 6 years, 171.5 does not get turned down.
Or he would have taken the 120, 4 years with the opt out after the second year, and he had more money for those first 2 years in that contract. The
Cubs.
Oh, shoot. The Cubs. Thank you. I was thinking it was the Blue Jays. They didn't make that
Cubs.
offer.
Blue Jays weren't really playing ball.
Scotty,
Fake news.
why do you think he didn't take that contract? I don't know. That was mind-boggling.
Opt out.
I'm not.
No opt out. They wouldn't give him an opt out after year one. He wants to hit the market again. And he's also looking at Matt Chapman, who didn't get exactly what he wanted. I think Bregman entered this offseason saying, I'm going to get $200 million in present day value on a contract. And he wasn't getting offers close to that. And the closest he got was in the 170s. And he was like, nope, not good enough. I think I'm worth more than that. And let's play the game. I have a nice cushion. I have an insurance policy of $90 million in present day value, but I can really bang in Boston, which is going to be a great park for that bat, right? And if he helps to take this team to the playoffs and the glove looks sick and there's good pop against the Green Monster, the plate discipline's there, like we usually see from Bregman, then the Red Sox might just say, all right, let's make this a longer term thing and get you paid the right way.
All right.
It's so unfair that the Dodgers are paying all that deferral too, right? The Dodgers pay all deferrals over all of baseball, right?
Yeah, they're the only ones allowed. Actually, there's an MLB rule that says the Dodgers are the only ones
So
allowed.
unfair.
You know what's funny? We did that. We did a segment the other day on the Shohei Ohtani rule that now counts for 2 years instead of one. And we had certain people commenting on our video being like, might as well just call this Dodger hater territory. And then some people were commenting back like, you don't watch the show. Like, what?
We hate all the teams.
You know you're
hate
good.
everybody.
AJ knows. AJ, actually Todd Father now too. You guys all have called games, right? Kratz a little different because you're calling Phillies. But if you're, well, I guess Todd Father different too. If you're calling a game where you're not calling it for one side, AJ, how does that go when you're calling a game?
If you don't get bitched at by both sides, then you haven't done your job, because
Exactly.
you call what the game does. You call what the game does. If one team beats the other team, you talk about the team that's winning. What are we going to pump up the team that's losing like we did Mets Phillies? The Mets beat the Phillies in 4 games. Of course we're going to talk about the Mets because they were beating them. The Phillies had their one good game. We talked about how great the Phillies were. You talk about the game and the series. And when the Mets win the series, guess what? Yeah, we're going to be on the Mets train because they won.
Let's get to a couple other layers here while we're waiting for Papelbon. So what about the Astros? It's over for Bregman. The career gets put to a close, and it didn't seem like he was seriously entertaining them, even though the offer was dangling there for a while. AJ, beyond the money, do you think that there was something inside his head that said, I'd like to go somewhere else to see how it goes and to get the trash can scandal stink out of here? Because it does kind of separate things once you leave. I'm serious about this one. We don't cover it a lot, but Alex Bregman was one of like the most in the media, like trash talk, fun guys. And then once that hit, it kind of silenced most of the players that were on that team. Maybe Kratz is the right one for this first because it's Houston, but you guys know how he was his first couple of years in the league. And then once that scandal hit, it changed things. So I'm just like, in the back of his head, does he want to go somewhere else so that it's not just constant booze about the Houston situation? Because he had to carry the freight, especially down the stretch here. There's really almost nobody left from that team on the Astros anymore.
I think it's more of what you just said. I don't think he sees the future there. I don't think he sees the same. Now, if the money had gotten close, I'm sure he likes it in Houston. But does he see what's coming down the pipeline? Does he see that, man, we had some dudes. Now we don't have Tucker. Framber's going to be gone. Where's Correa's been gone for a minute now. Like, maybe he just doesn't see the future there as like, hey, we're going to keep winning.
I don't know. I think if you like it, I think the Astros are fine. I think they have young guys. I mean, they don't have a great farm system, but they always seem to figure it out, right, one way or another. So, I don't know about that. I just think the money wasn't there, and he said the whole time he wanted to get past a certain number. The Astros didn't get there. He got it from Boston. He went there. I mean, you could do worse than going from Houston to Boston. It's not like he went from Houston to another city that's not as good as Boston. So I just think it was about the money, and because if he wanted to stay in Houston, he could have signed the 6/156 forever ago. So he just wanted to get that money. He got the money. He went. Good for him.
Yeah, great for him and for Detroit.
And the Astros already pivoted. Let's not forget the Astros already pivoted. They saw this coming, right? Dana Brown saw this coming. He went and got Paredes. Kyle Tucker, guess what they got? A third baseman back, right? So he knew this was coming. He thought this could come. He already knew in his mind when he said the other day, hey, we made an offer, but he's probably gone. Get ready. Well, now he's gone.
And lastly here, Todd Father, I give Detroit credit. I mean, I didn't know they were going to this length. 6 years, 171.5 is a nice offer. I mean, I think they put together something good, and it would have been a really big impact to the team. We were saying it. We're like, how is Detroit not really involved? Like, we knew they were involved, but we didn't know the numbers. That's a good number.
Yeah, agreed. They're coming. Listen, they're a good team. They play together as a team. There are no eye guys there. And I think Bregman would have just came in and followed suit and said, hey, here I am. I'm ready to play and enjoy playing with this type of squad. And, we're going to see a lot of good things from Detroit this year. They're a team that everybody knows and understands what they're capable of now. And, with or without Bregman, they're still going to be pretty good team. So they're going to make some noise in the Central for sure.
Yeah. And we're going to talk to Jack Flaherty later in the show. We talked to him before he signed with Detroit. Now we get the post. We'll do that later. We'll hopefully hear from our dude, Pap, on the scene in Boston. Plugged in and unfiltered. Jonathan Papelbon. I like the bio here. Red Sox TV analyst, former closer, World Series champ. Not a fan of Stephen A. Smith. Be right back to get the download from Pap on the Bregman signing impact in Boston. He's dialed in. Shout out. What's the deal if you suddenly, are having a really busy day, Kratz, and you just don't know how to get all the groceries handled, and then maybe you're kind of hearing it from the kiddos or from wifey, like, hey, did you get those groceries? What if you just slyly go, hungryroot.com/FT.
Already got them. Easy. It's easy. It's just right here. Just lock it in. Send it right to your house. You're good for the next 3 days, 5 days, whatever you need.
Right. Yeah. You fill out a pretty hearty questionnaire, but it's kind of fun. You guys filled it out, right? AJ, you remember filling it out where it's how many family members and what do you like to eat and what do you hate about Scott? No, I'm kidding. But they get really in depth with you on what they're going to deliver. So that certainly helps because then they give you the personalized recommendations. I
had Hungry Root for lunch. Hungry Root for lunch.
What'd you have?
Shrimp Caesar salad. Had Hungry Root for dinner last night. Shrimp Alfredo was delicious. So I've had Hungry Root 2 meals. Well, I had breakfast. It wasn't Hungry Root, but I had Hungry Root for dinner last night. I had Hungry Root for lunch today. Shrimp Caesar salad, shrimp Alfredo last night. Both were very good. My kids like them. It was just good. It's just good. It's good. The one thing I'll say this about Hungry Root too. You still have to do a little prep. You don't have to grocery shop, and it's usually pretty somewhat healthy for you, so it makes it easy, especially for me because I'm always doing stuff for lunch. Lunch for me is the hardest meal of the day to figure out because you got to think about what to make. When Hungry Root sends it to you, you make what they send you, and it's usually delicious.
Boom. There you go. You're going to log you can't talk. hungryroot.com/FT. Use code FT. You get 40% off your first box for a limited time, plus a free item in every box for life. That's not a limited time. hungryroot.com/FT. use code FT at checkout. Go get after it, FT fam. All right, cool. We're back. We're waiting for Pap. So for now, let's cover another signing because there was another big one that would have led off the show on almost any other day. Nick Pivetta signs. This one's super unique. Toddfather, would you have taken this deal if you're Nick Pivetta? Because you are dealing with the qualifying offer punishment, and it's a real punishment for players, especially someone like him. He turned down the qualifying offer, but he did end up getting himself a long-term deal at $55 million over 4 seasons. Here's the unique part. And yes, Robert Murray pointing out it's more than Pete Alonso's guarantee, although again, Pete's going to opt out as long as everything looks normal for him. Pivetta gets $4 million in 2025, and then his salary goes to $19 million in 2026, 14 in 27, 18 million in 2028. Would you have taken that contract?
Most definitely. Most definitely. I mean, listen, I think he's a great pitcher. I don't know all the calculations about what he's worth, but I feel like that's a fair offer for him. He's a guy that's been around a long time. He's a veteran. He's going to help any ball club. I think the Padres did a really good thing here in picking up a really good pitcher. He's not one of those guys where, it's like, all right, Nick Pivetta's pitching, but he's not that, the Shohei Ohtani type, but he's still a dominant pitcher that'll go out there and give you all he's got. I think this is a really good deal for the Padres, and I think this is a really good deal for Nick to kind of solidify his career with 4 more years and kind of walk off into the sunset.
And there's a couple opt-outs in there just in case he pops off because, AJ, he's been a potential guy for a while, and he's still kind of a sabermetric darling. Big strikeout percentage. The stuff numbers, like stuff plus, are really high up. Not a huge walk rate, but the ERA is just always hanging around higher than it should be, right?
Well, you know why? Because he doesn't walk guys. He falls behind and he throws, as Todd would say, a meatball right down the middle and guys mash it. The whole key for Nick Pivetta is he's got to get ahead in the count. If he's ahead in the count, then his stuff plays. That's why sometimes I think when he went to the bullpen, was it last year he went to the bullpen for a bit and had an unbelievable success, and then they tried him back as a starter, right? So I think he goes in the bullpen, he changes his mindset. If he could take that mindset as a starter and to be like, I'm attacking from pitch one, which we all, everyone tells him, I'm sure, hey, Nick, you got to attack pitch one. But sometimes when you go into the bullpen, it just changes you. Hey, I don't have to try to save anything for 5 or 6 innings. I got 1 or 2 innings. Let's go. I don't know. I love this deal for him. I think it's a great move for the Padres. It solidifies because one of their question marks was their starting rotation. We said it was Cease and Darvish and Musgrove's down. We're not sure after that, but now they at least can throw Pivetta in there. It's a great signing for the Padres.
Yeah, I think he's going to be really good. And just to clarify, 2023 is when he was bouncing around, right? And then 24, they put him back in there, and he was pretty good. I got to look at the adjusted park numbers, but it was a low 4s ERA.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing for the Padres. I want to say this about the Padres. He's not made. What's he making this year? 4, right? 4. Is it $4 million first year?
4, yeah.
Yeah. Guess what? Who's having financial problems because they're in a lawsuit? The Padres. Right, so this is a great deal for them. They're like, oh, we got a starting pitcher for $4 million. Oh, and we could have him for 3 more years. Yeah, we'll take that one any day of the week.
This wasn't an accident, right? They're like, hey, we're going to get you decent coin over a 2-year span, but you got to work with us on year 1, Kratz, because there's an ownership battle right now in courts. And really just overall, the Padres are just trying to keep their payroll in check a little bit because it naturally went up based on current player salaries by about $30 million. They're a high payroll team, and yet they lose Profar. Who else? Who's the other big besides your boy Higashioka? Who else did they lose? Kim.
Tanner Scott. Tanner Scott.
And Tanner Scott. Thanks for your help, everyone. So they lost all of those guys, and then you put in Pivetta to that rotation, fifth starter spot, there's a good competition. If they do pivot here and not end up trading Cease or Michael King, it's a really good rotation.
And with Musgrove down for the rest of the year, with that injury sustained in the playoffs, yeah, good rotation. I mean, nobody's counting the Padres out, even before this deal. I just hope this deal isn't a prequel to them saying, okay, now we can dump Cease. I mean, they would definitely end up saving like $8 million then this year.
How much money it saves?
Well, I'm saying compared to adding Pivetta at $4 million this year, I think Cease is going to get like 12.7 or 13 million, something like that. So essentially, you're adding a pitcher that would save you $8 million if you're able to get rid of Cease. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like swap.
Yeah. They would save.
Other.
Right. They would save pretty good money there. Or as Ken Rosenthal said on Fair Territory, which you should definitely check out after our show, it already aired. Robert Suarez could be the one. And he said, they could put the bullpen back together easier than the rotation. I agree. I mean, really, you don't want to trade anyone, but it is what it is.
I actually think it makes it more likely that he stays now because of this move.
Why?
For me. Just because I think they got a starter on the cheap, and now they were looking for starters. They got one on the cheap for year one. Cease a free agent at the end of the year. I think at least at the beginning of the year, I think it makes it more likely he stays.
Yeah, they talked him into a unique deal. We'll get into this more at some point, but let's go back to the Bregman conversation. Papelbon was late, so he's going to pay his kangaroo court fine, and then we'll talk to him.
Got him.
All right, we can keep this going for another few minutes here. So, Todd Father, if the Padres keep all of these guys and don't end up moving one of them because of the budget concerns, I mean, they might not be as good as last year, but they're pretty damn good. I mean, I probably entering the season have Dodgers, Diamondbacks, then Padres, but I just keep looking back at a team that wasn't scared of LA and has a lot of the same pieces in place.
Yeah, and this West Coast is interesting because me included, I think the Dodgers are going to run away with it. You'd have to be silly not to think that knowing who they just picked up and who they got in the offseason. And then the Padres. I mean, listen, Diamondbacks had that good year 2 years ago. Nice run, almost won the whole thing. They kind of fizzled at the end last year, and now, Padres, you said it, Scott. You said it like 18 different ways every different time. They're World Series champs if they don't lose, 2 games straight against the Dodgers. So, they just there's just something about them where it's just like they just don't finish, or there's something that always comes up with them, whether it's a problem in the clubhouse or, an injury or something. And it always just, it's a fickle team, so I love them. I do. I love them a lot. I just know where the Dodgers are at, and it's just the Dodgers versus everybody else. But I think the Padres have a really good ball club, and I think they're going to make some noise. It's just a matter of, what wild card spot they're going to get in, pretty much.
I scoffed at AJ Preller's comment when he was like, we need one more pitcher and we need 1 or 2 more bats. And I was like, yeah, right. No way. You had your chance. You missed out on it. Prove me wrong. He got his one pitcher. Now let's see. Will he go and get 1 or 2 more bats?
AJ, I was shocked when I saw Pivetta to the Padres. I was like, wait, what? I thought they're trying to cut payroll. And then I saw the structure of the deal, and I was like, super clever by Preller. I'm sure they tried that. My guess is a while ago, and he was like, shit, right. I'm not doing that. I'm not taking $5 million or $4 million, whatever I just said, bucks in the first year of that contract. But eventually it turned out to be the best offer and pretty good guaranteed money for him. I
agree. I think that this helps the Padres. No, I mean, let's not forget the Diamondbacks went out and got Corbin Burns and Josh Naylor and made some moves. So, I think it keeps them in the mix. Are they better than the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks right now on paper? Probably not. But AJ Preller, knowing him, he's probably not done. And, they lost a lot. Listen, they lost Tanner Scott. They lost Kim. They lost Profar. I mean, they lost a lot of dudes. And if Suarez is down, watch out.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a super bullpen anymore. All right, here we go. We got big man Jonathan Papelbon with us, and it's been a busy time over the last 12 hours. And Pap, we got a shorter segment now, but we love you, and we need the scoop on this signing. So your reaction when you saw Bregman going there, do you think this is a one and done and he'll opt out? Should he play second or third? Go.
First off, I'm going to apologize. I had to talk to the principal because my son was on the phone checking out the Alex Bregman deal in class, so I had to be talking to the principal. So I'm late. I'll pay my fines. Number two, to me, this is a sign that I don't care what he's done in the past. I don't care how many stats he puts up. This is a sign where you sign a true leader and a true leader in that clubhouse, and you have instant leadership. I love Devers and I love Trevor's story and Casas, but it takes a certain special somebody to be a leader on the team and to man up to the media every day in Boston. And they just really don't have that guy right now. So to me, it's an absolute awesome sign. And number three on this deal, this was a four-headed monster deal. I mean, this took Alex Bregman, this took Alex Cora, and also this took Breslow and the main man, John Henry, to put his balls on the line and make this deal done. So to me, I give credit to all of them coming together and figuring this out. Yeah, there's opt-outs, but I honestly, if they go and win, he's not going to opt out. So I think it's a clever deal that put together by all four of them.
Looking at this lineup, excuse me, they have a really stacked lineup, in my opinion. They have some starting from Jarren Duran all the way down. One, I think this is Tristan Casas' year. He's got to figure it out. I said that earlier. This could be a make or break. I mean, maybe I'm looking too much into it, but does this lineup right here and their staff, pitching staff, are they going to make waves when the Yankees come into town? Is this a new era for these Red Sox team to start making some noise in the East?
Well, credit to John Henry. He's tired of losing to the Yankees. And I think that, he goes through waves where he spends money. And I think Craig Breslow came in at a perfect time where John Henry's wanting to spend money. But Flavor Fraze, look, man, I'm going to tell you this thing. Now, he may not stay at second base all year long. I mean, Alex Cora is known to manipulate lineups and put his guys in and give guys days rest when they need them. And so I don't necessarily look at him possibly playing second base all year long, especially if the Christian Campbell kid comes up and sets the world on fire. So, like I said earlier, I think I view him as a straight leadership role, and Casas definitely has to start stepping it up. He'll probably be all over that Netflix series. He's the guy in the clubhouse that, answers to media, but he definitely has to stay healthy. Trevor Story has to stay healthy. And another thing on this starting lineup, like you said, Fraze, look, Brian Bayo's got to step up this year. He's got to start stepping up and throwing strike one, because just like AJ was talking about earlier with Nick Pivetta, Bayo's got to do the same thing. He's got to go out there and get strike one and pitch ahead in the counts too, because he's 10 times more effective than when he is behind the count. So.
Isn't everybody, Pap? You were probably worse when you were ahead in the count, because then you had to throw that split that Jermaine Dye hit over the fence. But that's cool. All right. Do we? I asked you this question. I know it's Scott clarified it's only 3 years, 90 technically with the deferred money, but I still look at it as 120. I don't care what Scott says, because he's getting $120 million. So for a $40 million a year player, basically, I know it's not real money, so Scott, shut up. But is Alex Bregman that guy? And I mean, Alex Bregman's stats, are his stats. He's a great third baseman. He might be moving positions, but is this a contract they paid because of his clubhouse presence, his leadership value, and also with all the moving parts that they have to make? Will the Red Sox look back? And if he opts out after the first year, will the Red Sox look back and say it was worth it?
That's a great question, AJ. I think that, number one, this deal doesn't happen unless Alex Cora already had the relationship that he had with him previously. So he could go to John Henry and he could go to Craig Breslow and say, hey, look, this guy will fit perfectly in our clubhouse. This guy will be one of our leaders, which we do desperately need right now. And number two, I think, if he goes there and the stats are there and they win, that changes everything. Now, if he comes here and Trevor Story gets hurt again, we got to switch positions every day and mix and match like they had to do last year, then he thinks twice about it, I think. But to me, there's certain ballparks that you love to hit in and you love to pitch in. And I'll tell you this one thing, that Parlay Pap's going to be taking the over and the doubles. I don't care what the number is come into spring training, because he's going to hit 80 freaking doubles this year probably.
He knows how to hit in that park, that's for sure. Even though he had the same OPS last year as Yoshida, who you were trying to get rid of. But you also said not too long ago, Christian Campbell, and you mentioned it a little bit, does this move deter the Red Sox from making a crazy move by putting him in the opening day roster, like you said, or do they still try to push it and then it creates all that havoc?
Well, Kratz, I think what it does is it gives the Red Sox the ability to not press these guys up and not push these guys up when maybe they might not be ready. They may be ready, but you really don't know yet. It gives Marcelo Mayo, Roman Anthony, and Christian Campbell, the big three so-called, that it gives them a chance to mature a little bit and get better in the minor leagues, and they don't have to necessarily – now, if somebody gets hurt, that changes everything. Trevor Story goes down in the first week again this year, then that changes everything. So you got to press guys up. But I think it gives them a set lineup to start off the season with, and going into the season – there's a lot of expectations with this ball club. And to me, it's going to be fun because it's going to be – and on my side of things, it's a whole lot more fun to announce games and do games when you're watching big league players every night, not minor league players that are coming up and filling positions. And that's what the Red Sox – that's what we've been watching with the Red Sox the last few years. So all that's going to change. So we're going to be watching some exciting baseball with the Red Sox this year, that's for sure.
Okay, tell us. Parlay Pap, where are they going to finish? Where are the Sox finishing?
I got to finish it behind the Yankees. I do. I think in the AL East, this division is the division where the Yankees have seemed to own it. But to me, that doesn't matter. I think they're going to get in as a wild card. I just think the pitching is just not there. I think the Yankees have better pitching as of right now. Now, could that change if as Lou Merlone calls him the pig, if Garrett Crochet comes out and wins 15 to 20 games, that may change. But that's a lot. That's a big ask for a young kid like that to come in the American League East and right away punch out 15 to 20 wins and give us 180, 200 innings. That's a big ask to me. So if that doesn't happen, I have the Yankees above us. But with the wild card, that doesn't matter.
It does matter. It does matter because wild card teams seem to do better than the division winners, Pap. So come on, let's go. Keep up. keep up here. I know that was the first year, though, where we haven't had anybody cry about having too much time off. Just saying. So you want to try to win the wild card, not the division, okay?
I agree.
Does this move mean, though, and we talked about this before you came on, and I saw your tweet where you said, Yoshida out, Campbell at second base. Do you think Christian Campbell will really start the season on the big league roster? Because I don't think he will. I think they're going to stick with Devers to start, move Bregman to second to start, and then see how it plays out. Because I don't think, one, they want to start the clock on Campbell, and two, I don't think they want to put that pressure on moving Devers, and then every day Christian Campbell comes in and they're like, man, you made Rafi Devers move out of the starting lineup. You have to do something. I just think the Red Sox are going to play it slow with him.
Yeah, and I think they are now, AJ. And AJ, I had said that before the Alex Bregman signing. I mean, like thinking that, the Campbell kid was going to start at second when I came on previously on the FT. But now that you got Bregman, I think that does change a little bit. It gives you a more set lineup, and you don't have to necessarily press these young kids and start their clocks. When you call these kids up, you get a bona fide big leaguer and you know it. You're not filling a void because you have to. But to me, I think out of the three kids, this Christian Campbell kid is something else, man. And I've had just a little bit of time to be able to watch him. But man, I'm super impressed with this kid. He's super mature, and so we'll see what happens. Like I said earlier, Alex Cora is known for this. This is what he plays chess out there, so he's known to mix and match, and Breggs knows that. So whether or not Breggs is going to play a little bit of second base, and when Devers needs a day off, he'll play third base, and vice versa. Who knows?
Man, Pat, I thought Kratz was a homer, but you have taken the cake for a homer drinking the Red Sox Kool-Aid, boy. Let me tell you. But before we let you go, I know why you were late, and I know you said you used the excuse of the dog ate my kid's homework. I get it. But I know why you were really late, because I was in Stark Vegas on Tuesday night. You no-showed, and I watched Florida whoop Mississippi State's ass in basketball, okay? But if you want to make some money, if you could build a really nice hotel in Starkville with like some sort of restaurant, Ibari type, Pap. I know your boy Oswald's got his Prime 44, but if we could build like a nice hotel, we could make a lot of money, because I'm not lying, there ain't nowhere to stay in that place.
Yeah, well, AJ, I usually stay at the Motel 6. I'm not as high class a highfalutin kind of guy like you.
Yeah, Motel 6 is high class there.
Bells and whistles.
Yeah, Motel 6 is high class, and you know it. Listen, I'm not going to tell you where I stayed, but it wasn't a Motel 6, but I had something happen to me. They called me, and before I got to Starkville on Monday night and said, sorry, sir, we know you have a reservation, but we're taking it away and we're giving it to someone else. And I said, listen, that ain't happening. I'm showing up at that hotel. I'm either sleeping in the lobby, I'm sleeping behind the desk, but I've had a reservation for months. I'm staying at the hotel. And then they called me back 2 minutes later and like, oh, you're right. We bumped someone else that didn't have status like you. Your member status. So boom. But I was like, man, I'm sleeping on the floor if I have to.
Hey, look, in Stark Vegas, there's not enough hotels, I will admit it, but you got to have star power, AJ. At least you got star power, kid. At least you got somewhere.
I dropped Papelbon. Nobody knew who you were. I was like, but I know Jonathan Papelbon. And you know what they were going to have on Wednesday, and it got canceled, or I would have stayed? They were having a home run derby at the Dude, and I was like, I'm in. My daughter, who plays volleyball there, was like, Dad, you got to do this. And I'm like, oh, I'm in. And then they canceled it because they said it was raining, although it wasn't raining.
Yeah, we got the big wiener dog race there, too. I don't know if you heard about that.
That's perfect for AJ. He's already done a sausage race. Wiener is right up his alley.
There you go.
Whoa. Too
And
far.
on that note,
Right on, Scott.
Pat, before we get crossed off the channel list, good to see you, dude. Thanks for stopping by. Kangaroo Court is to hook AJ up with a hotel room and no cancellations, all right?
All right. Sounds great. I got to go talk to the principal. I'll see you guys later.
Appreciate you. See you later,
See ya.
Pat. Kids, you can check your phone. Just make it quick and don't let the principal or the teacher see. I mean, that's kind of a good one. Oh, sorry. I was just checking the Alex Bregman signing really quickly on my phone. I mean, I know. I can only imagine how schools are. I mean, you guys have kids, how schools are with phones these days. How do they manage that? I'm the only one to not talk about this.
They have a slot. I mean, at my kid's school, they have a slot. You get based on attendance if your phone is in your slot. Obviously, if there's a kid that doesn't have his phone that day, but like the teacher goes, and if the phone's not in the slot by the time class is, you're counted tardy or whatever.
I like that. I've never heard of that. There's no way they do that in Florida, AJ. No way.
They just tell them not to use their phone. I mean, my kids are older. Listen, I didn't give my kids a phone until they were 13, so I didn't really have to worry about it for a long time, right? Yep. So they had to wait. And then so now once they got it, they were excited about it. I was like, y'all get in trouble for using your phone? Guess who gets to take it away? This guy. And I was not afraid to just grab it and say, thank you very much. You get it back in a couple of days. So they know. It's tough because kids love it. Adults love it, but it's tough in school because they want to text their friends and snap their friends and this and that. And it's like, pay attention to the teacher, please, kids.
Todd, kid's too young, right? You're not there yet?
Yeah, no, they got to graduate 8th grade, my kids. So we made that rule. They got a little watch they can use, but they can only hit up like 10 people on there, no internet, stuff like that. So just in case they're in a bind and they need me, they can use their watch. But Yeah, no, I got family members who are teachers, and they're like, it's the toughest thing. You can't take it away from them. I mean, there's all these different types of rules, man. It's nuts.
Man, when they had March Madness when I was a kid, I would go to the payphone and call this free toll number, toll free number that would give you the scores. And they'd be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm calling my parents.
Yeah.
I'm calling my parents because I filled out my bracket and I was like 11." And I'm like, "Oh, hold on. My mom's not picking up. Something happened. Something happened to my parents." I think they caught
Scott
up
was
then.
calling his bookie at 11 on a pager.
Oh.
Beep, beep, beep.
Tony, McNeese State by 6.5. All right, I'll talk to you
Hell,
later. I
dude.
got to go back to algebra. Anyway, we're going to talk to Jack Flaherty in 1 minute and try and get a little bit back on the rails. All right, Tiger starter Jack Flaherty joining us soon, getting all set up. So stand by on that one. To me, this part's cool. We had him on, I think, days before he signed, AJ. And we were like, what is going on? Obviously, he made some noise with his tweet about too many teams not trying hard enough. I think we asked him specifically about Detroit, and he spoke really highly of the situation. And then days later, he does sign with them. And obviously appreciative to always be able to get like the post. We got the pre and the post. Post is coming up. But I thought that part was cool. And then when we all saw it, we were like, yep, that makes sense.
And don't forget, I mean, Tarik Skubal also lobbied for him a little bit when we were at the BBWAA award. So this seemed like the right fit, especially, you know, talking to Jack and talking to Tarik about how much they like playing with each other and pitching for the same team. So I love this signing for Detroit. I think it's great. And I'm happy for Jack also.
We have it. So let's throw to it, and then Jack's going to join us.
I wanted to stay in Detroit.
There's a guy I want on the mound that's not me on our team. I want him on the mound.
I loved it there, and I thought the combo of me and Scoob was incredible.
He's a free agent, by the way. Tell Scott Harris is here. Hinch is here. Tell him, hey,
I'd love to have him back.
Flaherty's a free agent.
Talking to them and talking to other teams and just like, hey, you know, it'd be fun to go back there.
I saw a little rumor. I go, hey, what's up? And, yeah, I'd love to have him back.
Free agent Jack Flaherty announces he's returning to the Tigers. The Detroit Tigers have their 1-2 punch. That was actually awesome. What do you think? Did you like that?
Pretty good. That was a good, pretty good job there on that video.
That was great. All right, so great to have you back, Jack. Appreciate the time, dude. Excited to see you, obviously, in Lakeland with the 1-2 punch. So since we last spoke a few weeks ago, what happened between when we spoke and then you signing with Detroit to make it happen?
You know, I think things just started to pick up with them. Conversations started to pick up. I don't necessarily know like what changed or what led to the like conversation picking up. I don't really know. It just maybe it was just part of timing and everything. Maybe I couldn't give you a real good correct answer. It just got to a point where we started to get really close in a matter of days, and things happened. I was sitting at my mom's house and was like saying bye to her, you know, basically like, I don't know when I'm gonna see you again. I don't know if I'm gonna sign soon or whatnot. And then I got off the phone with my agent and I was like, yeah, this is probably gonna be done here in the next like hour or two. We're just going over some details, and I was like giving it to her, and she was like, oh, okay. Like kind of the same way it went the year before, where things just happened really quickly, and don't really know what changes or why things start to pick up. You know, it was nice to be able to, you know, give her a hug, and I got back on the plane to go back home and just, you know, be able to say bye to her. And it's kind of crazy how quickly it happens.
Jack, do you think you could take your earbuds out and maybe see if because you're kind of cutting in and out sometimes. Take your AirPods out and see if does that help.
If we
Talk
disconnect
to
the
us for a little
AirPods,
bit.
let's see. Yeah. Just because it.
Hear me?
I can hear you now. Is that better, boys?
You got me?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I think that's better.
That's
Yep.
That's
All
nice.
right, go ahead,
Okay.
Kurt.
Is that enough time? Because
Well-
you hear about dudes like getting ready to go to spring training, and you're ramping it up. It's like, oof, like how quick was it? Because everything's taken in Lakeland, but everything's been taken in Lakeland for like 15 years. So you're fine on that end. But like how much is that speed of like, bam, signed pitchers and catchers in 13 days?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even 13 days. It was signed, and hey, in 2 days we need you in Detroit for physicals and everything, and got to run through MRIs and all that. And then in a week later, you got to report to Lakeland once everything's signed. So it was like, all right, so I got to be able to figure out how to pack everything up and get everything together. And that was, for me, that was the bigger issue as opposed to like where I was at physically and where I was at body wise. Like I was in a really good place. Like I was ready to, I've been ready to go. And, through another pen today in front of them, and things have gone well. But in terms of just like getting up and being like, okay, I got to get to Detroit in 2 days, and then I got to get down to Florida, and still figuring out everything else, all the other little things, which is the bigger deal. But in terms of where my body's at and the way that I felt, I try to put myself in a good situation that if something like this was to happen, then I'd be ready to go.
All right. Well, now you're in Lakeland, beautiful Lakeland, right? I'm sure you're going to go to the mall every day there. I don't know what else there's to do in Lakeland. Yeah, it's a beautiful place in Lakeland. What's your day like now? Because you guys haven't officially started camp, right? Have you guys officially reported yet?
Yeah, we officially, I believe yesterday was day one.
Okay.
Yesterday was officially day one. So I got down here. I got here Tuesday. I took a couple days to just go away. Went to Detroit, and then kind of reset for a few days, just mentally, like kind of reset right before, because once we get going, like I'm full go from like day one that I arrive to camp, and I'm full go. So it's been just pretty much being locked in and taking care of the body, getting some little things worked out here and there, and then just conversations with pitching coaches and with Feder and AJ, and just trying to figure out schedules and whatnot. And but I'm feeling a really good place, and it was exciting walking through those doors and seeing everybody, seeing Scoop, seeing Casey, Reese, all the boys. It was a sight to see.
You bring up Skubal. Was he big in the recruiting process a little bit? Because I know he talked a little bit about it when he was on the show, how much he wanted you back. And if so, what did he say to you when he saw you here in spring training, man? Was it like, oh, brothers back together, man? I love it.
He wasn't actively reaching out, but I saw what he said, and that's a huge compliment coming from a guy that I mean, that I've said it, he's the best pitcher in baseball, and what he was able to do last year and the stuff that he has being left-handed, like, so to hear what he had to say of, if he had to have somebody else out there on the mound that he'd pick me, like that went a long way. And I haven't told him that personally yet. I'm sure we'll sit down and talk. There's been a lot going on the last few days, just everybody on different schedules. But I texted him before it came out and just let him know, like, hey, yeah, this is gonna be a done deal. Like, I'm gonna be back, and he was pumped up, and I got to see him on Tuesday when I came in. It just it was just one of those things. It was like, hey man, it's been a while, but real good to see you. And let's run this thing back. I know you got your Cy Young last year, and I got the World Series, but it's time to move forward. Like, last year's last year. Let's do it all together this year.
All right, so you have been a Tiger for a little over 2 weeks now. Were you in the process of the whole Bregman trying to recruit him, or did they not ask you, hey, like, reach out? Like, we know you were new to the organization last year. Did you have any part of that?
No, I had no part of it. I had no part of it. That was completely them. They seeing the offers, they put together a good offer. And it's everybody makes decisions for what they feel is best for their career. So you want to wish Bregman luck and hope that everything goes well. But you like to see the organization trying to go get a guy like that who was even going to help us take another step. But we love the guys that we have. We love those guys, the guys that we have in this locker room, and the guys that we have around and that are going to fill in those spots. So. Seeing what they were able to do last year, once I left, and I'm just looking forward to competing with these guys.
Jack, do you know where the Tigers open this year? Have you looked at the schedule?
Of course I do. Yeah, we open in LA. I've known.
Yeah, so that's my next question. So are you going to be part of, you probably pitch in game 2. I'm assuming Scoobs will start game 1. You'll probably throw game 2. Everything goes correctly in spring training. So in game 1, let's say they give out the rings. Are you going to have a Dodger uniform on when they give out rings so you can get your rings directly? You can just stand in the line or are you going to want a private ceremony for yourself in your Tiger uniform? Because, it's a little weird, you're on the other team, but hey, look, guys, I get a ring.
Hey, I'm gonna let them take the reins on that, but I definitely saw as talks started to get more intense, and I was like, oh, okay, we open in LA. This could be real interesting. This could be a lot of fun. I definitely won't be wearing a Dodgers uniform. I'll definitely be in a Tigers uniform. However that goes, whatever way it all ends up working out. So I'm looking forward to it. I get to get it done right away. Scoop texted me. He's like, "Hey, can you bring your ring to spring training?" And I was like, "I'll get it that first weekend, so you'll see it. Don't worry." It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It'll be great to kind of I don't want to say get it out of the way, but have it done. Opening weekend, get all of those out the way, get the emotions out the way, everything, and I'm excited for it. I'm also excited to compete against those guys. That'll be the first one.
I talked to somebody last night who's seen the ring. He said it's pretty gaudy. It's pretty crazy. Like the top pops off. But anyway, that you'll be excited about it. It could look like AJ's World Series ring, and you would still be excited about it. But it's Dodger style, so there's something crazy in it.
Yeah, I would expect nothing less. I would expect that. That's kind of what I was expecting. So, again, like you said, it could have been anything. But the second that ring goes, that I get to see it and put it on my finger, I'm gonna be, who knows? Who knows what kind of emotions will come up? It'll be emotional. It'll be a lot, and then it'll be about competing against those guys and trying to pick up a couple wins there.
All right. Now, you saw Pivetta sign with the Padres. So Nick Pivetta was, his contract's way different stipulations, all that stuff. Nothing about Pivetta. Do you think it was very visible that there was beef between you and the Padres in the playoffs? Playoffs, everything gets blown out of proportion. Do you feel like one instance, because I couldn't go back and look at any other instances that there was any beef between you and the Padres. Do you feel like one instance could keep a free agent away from a team in the sense of like, man, that guy, because it was you and Manny's he's one of the leaders on that team. Do you think that could keep a marquee free agent or a team from going after a marquee free agent?
I don't know, because I heard from Mike Schultz 2 days ago congratulating me. I've known him since we were both in St. Louis together. Him and I talked later that series. We caught up before Game 5 and just kind of talked over things. And we both talked about like it was two competitors. I've got nothing but respect for Manny. I got nothing but respect for like how good he is and the type of player he is. And he's going to compete and he's going to stand up for his guys. And that's who he is. And I said like the emotions got like completely carried away. It was a really emotional series. There was a lot going on. And it had been something that had been back and forth between both those teams for the last couple of years. And, the two of us got caught in the middle of it. So, I don't know. I'm happy for Nick. I'm happy for his situation and the fact that he, didn't have to wait too long into spring and can knock it out in the first couple of days. That's what's unbelievable dude. One of those guys that you really pull for. So, I would love to talk to Manny about it someday, just like and just go over it. Like I felt that like I emotionally like I got my emotions got in the way a little bit. And I mean, I think we both like to compete, and it came out in a very aggressive way on both sides.
Listen, it's the playoffs. It doesn't matter. It's over. You're over it, okay? You know what you do to Manny? This is what you do. When you see him, the first time, when you guys play the Padres, because every team plays them, you take your ring out and you just walk by Manny just like this with it on your phone.
I'm sure that's going to go.
Oh, hey, Manny, you want to chat now? You want to chat? But this is all I want to know. Last one, because we hit on it a little bit, how gaudy it is. And Kratz made fun of our mood ring that we have for the White Sox World Series. But will you be a wearer of your ring? Will you be a ring wearer? Because I don't wear mine. Mine's like locked away. But will you be a guy that wears it? Like you're gonna go out to the club and you're gonna be like, hey, look, people, I played for the Dodgers last year, and look at this giant ring on my finger.
No. It'll be locked away. It'll come out. Hopefully, if I pitch well enough or any type of award ceremony or something like that, that's where it'd come out. It'd come out around other guys, or it'd come out around, like I'll using like Kenny Lofton's a family friend of mine. Like I'll make sure that he sees it, and he played like a long time in the big leagues, and he texted me, he's like, man, I never got one, like congrats to him, and I'll put that in. I'll put that out there a little bit. So, but otherwise, it'll be locked. It'll be put away.
Okay, and quick fun fact: the Padres don't play the Tigers. Is that true?
No, we never.
Everyone plays everybody.
Everybody plays everybody, Scott.
Michael behind the scenes just messed me up. Embarrassing. Anyway, all right. Well, this is when he'll bring it out. Award ceremony. Go in a sigh, and then that's the perfect place to bring it out, right? In the winter time after the season at the award ceremony. So, Jack, thanks for doing this, man. Great to have the post-contract signing, and obviously we'll see you. Some of us will be there in Lakeland, so we'll see you soon, dude.
Let me know.
I'll see you.
Let me know if you want to play some golf. I mean, it's not that far, so I'm always looking for partners.
All right, sounds good.
Appreciate you, Jack. Talk soon, man. Yeah, that can't be right. Now I'm just going to spend 3 minutes during the break here.
Everybody plays everybody now. That's the whole point. Every other year, you get to see every team at your home park. That was the whole schedule thing.
Listen, Michael's legit. Michael gets a lot right. It's okay. It's okay if he got this one
He's
wrong.
still arguing with us. Now I'm just digging in.
I don't see them.
Okay.
Really?
So did they change that? Did they change that everybody's supposed to see?
Unless the Tigers have a natural rival, like the Cubs White Sox, you lose a series somewhere because they have to play each other twice where some teams only play once. Maybe that was the team they lost.
Wow. I'm going through it right now. Nah, they don't play them.
Wow. Well, never mind.
Michael, you're still not wrong. You're still perfect. You're still perfect, Michael.
Michael, you need to send a follow-up to Jack and say, screw the FT hosts who talk about baseball every day. I actually know more than them. And we
don't know anything.
Wow. Wait, I'm now super curious. I thought every team played everybody. Was obviously you don't play them home and road, but everybody plays everyone at least one time.
This must be a football show.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is gonna dominate. This is where my head starts to.
It's gonna dominate your brain the rest of the day.
It's gonna dominate my day until I'm gonna have to text Jason Stark or somebody like that.
I think we're right.
He said you guys are right. Oh yes. Wait. They do play them in April. Wait. Guess what? This morning I'm on a sales call and we're going through a schedule, and I'm like, yo, you'll never believe this. The MLB site has a glitch, and it was on every website, and it's still up on the MLB team site right now. It goes from March to May if you go to the schedule.
Oh,
I had this mess up a sales call this morning. We were planning another FT show on the road, and I'm like, did they get rid of April?
They're trying.
No, I'm literally trying to find the schedule right now. I'm on MLB app. I can't even find like the schedule. How do I pull up just the Padres schedule? I can't even find a place to click it.
I don't know about the app, but on web, right? Because I'm on my computer right now. Everybody watching right now, go to a team on MLB.com and go to their schedule. They're getting paid for every click, so they'll appreciate it. But also, there's a massive glitch going on right now where you're missing April. And people are freaking out thinking it's Y2K and there's no more April. April 21st is when the Padres play the Tigers, by the way.
Our pets' heads are falling off.
It's in Detroit, too, by the way. In Detroit.
This is the most in the weeds topic ever, and I have to be fair to the TV crowd. We did quick homework on the schedule. There's no April on most team sites on MLB.com right now. So the Padres and the Tigers do play each other Monday, April 21st, I think is the start of the series is my guess. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So anyway, just to clear that up, not our fault. Technology, somebody coder, fix it.
Technology.
Anyway, let's get into this Marcus Stroman situation here for 10 minutes. So Stro took his physical on Tuesday. Today is Thursday. He's been a no-show for workouts for the last 2 days. The club's not certain yet when he's going to be on the field. Technically, according to the CBA, the agreement between MLB owners and players, you're not required to be on the field until February 22nd. The club was informed by Stroman's agent before his physical, I guess, about the missing time. Aaron Boone has talked about this, and it was pretty interesting the way that he quoted it because he used the word awkward. Are we going to show that, or we're just going to talk about it? Let me know. But otherwise, no, we're not going to show it. So I can read the quote. I'm pretty sure I can find it as we're talking because it's pretty important because I think it helps to tell the story. So Boone said he quote, had an idea that Stroman wouldn't show up for workouts these last 2 days and that he understands, quote, how it looks. He called it, quote, a little bit of an awkward situation. But Boone has talked to Stroman and expects him in camp in the next few days. So this is perfect topic for a player show. I'll give one more bit of context and then let's swing it around here because I don't know how this all works, but I do know that most players report when they're supposed to report, even though there's technicalities in when you can show up. Stroman was in trade rumors this offseason. They couldn't figure it out. And he didn't pitch, I think, at all in the playoffs, which for a competitor like him definitely bothered him. I don't even have to ask him to know that. So, Todd Father, have you ever seen anything like this aside from a player missing time due to personal reasons or a visa issue? I'm taking that out because we would have heard about that.
Yeah, no, I have. I remember Norris Hopper, blast from the past, man. He leadoff guy, pretty much get you a single any time of the week, any day of the week you wanted. He's one of those guys that would show up the day he was supposed to show up. By rule, it's one of those things. You don't have to come to camp. I know everybody says it doesn't look good. I get it. These are the rules of engagement. These are the rules of baseball. From what I'm hearing, Boone and Stroman are on good terms. There's nothing really weird about it. I think, what he said, it kind of made it look like, Stroman is a guy that he's not coming. What's going on? There's rumors of this. There's really no rumor to it. He'll be there over the weekend. And when Monday strolls around, it's game time for him. So, it's a veteran guy. He's made a lot of money over his career, and, he understands the gruel and grind of the year, and I think he's going to be just fine once he comes back over the weekend.
I've always said the vets don't need to show up until a little bit later in spring training. Not like this, though. Look, Stro knows what he needs to do. Is he doing it for a reason? Only he knows. We can speculate, but I never even knew that this was a possibility. Like, if AJ knew this was a possibility, he'd have shown up for games too, just for the games on the 22nd. Like, that's the first day. But I was there 10 days ahead of time. I was, as a kid say, I was too much of a try hard. If you're able to show up late, but, if he's upset, if he is upset, and that's why he's not showing up, you know what? There's a lot worse ways you could go about it. He's just not there. Hopefully it's not a distraction. I hate when people are like, is this a distraction for the team? No, he's a starting pitcher. It's not like they're, they're playing without a center fielder.
By rule, they don't have to show up until the 22nd, too, if I'm not mistaken.
The CBS.
Yeah, but who does that? Who does that? Like the
Never.
fact that we even brought the rule up.
A handful.
Right, you brought up Norris Hopper, right? He was one.
Norris Hopper wasn't good enough to do that, by the way. Manny Ramirez.
Norris would miss those days, come in, game one, go 2 for 3 with 2 singles. Like, I can't do that. I had to show up early because I needed as many swings as possible because I'm hitting inside in this cold weather, as Kratzy knows too. I want to see how far my ball went, if I can still hit it far. That's just my psyche going crazy. But yeah, I mean, guys did it. I don't think it has any bearing or anything to do with, opting out or looking for a trade or anything like that. In my opinion, from what I'm hearing, I think he's just understanding he's a veteran guy, and he could do what he wants until that time comes. He really doesn't have to show up until the 22nd, and that's everybody's right. I don't think it should make big noise because rules are the rules. Oh, man, why are you showing up to saying, no, actually, my job says I don't have to show up until the 22nd, and that's that. Okay, when you guys should move on, whether it looks good or not.
Okay, so my question is, as a teammate, if you have a guy that does this, how do you feel about it?
Feels like he's alienated. In my opinion.
I don't know, because I never had anybody do this. I mean, the only guy I ever remember hearing about doing this was Manny Ramirez, and he was kind of in a contract thing. And he's like, oh, I'll show up March 1st or whatever it was, whatever the date was back then, right? But, I mean, everyone else, you got 65 other guys there grinding, and you're like, I'm not sure. Again, I don't know the situation, what's happening with Marcus Stroman. I'm just saying, as someone looking from the outside, what do his teammates think? That's what I want to hear about.
Mm-hmm.
And I know exactly where you're coming from, AJ, but that's the last thing any team needs. It's like, oh man, hey, what about Stroman? What I mean? That's the media trying to stir some crap up. But yeah, I see it on both sides. I do. What I want my compadre, my teammate there, grinding with us, even before day one, of course. But at the same time, you got to respect everybody's decision.
Okay, so let me give you the fan perspective. It's causing unnecessary attention. And there are multiple ways to put this to bed, right? Because it's New York. It's the Yankees. It really would be a story anywhere, but it's really a story in New York. There is nothing going on right now, okay? The Giants suck. The Jets suck. I don't know what's going on really in the NBA right now. I don't have time for NBA and NHL. But there are a lot of fans that go right from football to baseball. Spring training just started. There's nothing happening. It's just people showing up. Luckily for Yanks fans, there's no injuries. So what is everybody talking about today? Marcus Stroman's not at camp. And they didn't say it's because of a personal issue. That's the big thing. I actually would have just said, I'm wondering, like on the PR side, why not just lie and be like, hey, he's not here for a personal issue? No, because it could be any personal issue. Don't lie.
Yeah, but don't throw lies, because as much as it's going to get a lot of publicity, then you're always backtracking. At some point you're going to forget that you lied. Don't lie. Don't lie.
Okay.
I think what Boone did, I thought Boone handled it awesome. If Stroman wants to say something, it's Stroman's place to say something.
But why are the reps saying it's not trying to protest him pissed off about trade rumors and not pitching in the playoffs and all that stuff and his standing with the team? So my thing, Kratz, the famous Kratz line, say it with your chest. You're not there. You don't have to be there yet. Then tell your reps to say, hey, or he should say, hey, I didn't love the way that things have shaken out over the last several months, so I'm taking a stand. The middle ground, I think, is soft.
I don't think he has to say anything because it's in the rule. It's in the CBA. So he comes. Just say he comes on the 22nd, for example. Hey man, where the heck you been? Working out? What do you mean? Oh, you weren't here with everybody else. But the rules, I don't have to show up till the 22nd, man. I'm ready for the grind. It's a long season. This is a long season. I know how it's done. I'm a veteran. So I decided this year I'm going to show up on time knowing how long of a season it's going to be. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. And that's how it should be squashed like that, in my opinion.
That's fine. And then the follow-up from New York Reporter is going to be, so do you think that this is taking a stand against teams getting players into camp earlier than they technically need to be by the rules? Are you standing up for that? Should we have more players in a situation like this? Because it's never happening in today's game. You're the only one on the Yankees that showed up late. What did your teammates say to you? Do you think that it gets perceived that way? This is what happened. Todd, you played in New York.
I know, but he didn't.
You know
He didn't
how it
show
is.
up late. That's the thing.
Later than everyone else.
Okay, yeah, I get it, and I would say, if that's what he wants to say, I'd say no. I just know the rules, and I'm happy to be here. Let's go Yankees and try and move on from there. You guys are making unnecessary noise about this whole situation. I don't want to start the season like this. I'm ready to be a Yankee. Now leave me alone.
Hold up, though. I'm a good New York reporter. I'm in the clubhouse because they're coming in hot with more, right?
Sure.
Marcus, how did you feel about being popped up in trade rumors throughout the offseason and not pitching in the playoffs? How much did that affect you?
Listen, I'm a gamer. I always wanted to be in the playoffs. I understand the situation of what they wanted to do. Was I upset? Yeah. Trade rumors, it's been a part of my whole career. And right now I'm a Yankee, and I want to be a Yankee, and I can't wait for spring training to start. Have a good day.
Then the next question, then they go to Erik Kratz and they say, Kratz, what do you think about Stroman not being here? AJ, what do you think about not being here? Why don't you do this? Like, I know why I was always on time, because I was a catcher and I needed to be there to catch my pitchers, right? That's why Kratz was there early, because he wanted to get a jump on being there to catch. So why, I understand you don't have to be there technically, but then why on earth has almost every other player been there on time? Because they want to be part of the team and they want to go to war with their boys, right? Like, I'm here. Sure. We're going to grind through this. You heard Jack Flaherty, right? He threw a bullpen. He was watching everybody throw a bullpen. Like, that's part of becoming part of a team. So I get it that he doesn't have to be there. But again, It's New York. They're going to go to you, Todd. If you're on this team and say, Todd, what do you think about Stroman not being here? Your answer is going to be, well, he can do what he wants. Well, why the hell can't everyone else do what they want? Right? That's where this becomes a story, because if he just shows up, he lives in, I don't know if he still does, but he used to live in
that area.
He used to he always posts the videos of him throwing the bullpens on a dock, right? That dock ain't in New York. I'm sorry, where he's from, right? It ain't up there in New York. It's in Florida somewhere, right?
It's on the Hudson, actually.
Yeah, exactly, right? Not in the weather today, right? But you know what I'm saying? That's why it becomes a story, is because, how many ever people the Yankees have in camp, I'm seeing videos of Rodon throwing against Austin Wells live at Steinbrenner Field and throwing against Ben Rice, but I haven't, Stroman not showing up. That's why it's a story. If there was more than one person that did this every year, then people would be like, yeah, it's no big deal. It happens. But because this is the one guy, and Stroman also, and I hate to say this sucks. People in New York, though, try to make bigger things out of nothing, right? Stroman has had whatever you want to call it, right? That's it. That's all I'm saying. They're going to try and make it into something it's not, even if it's not. So just come out and say something. Say, hey, man, sorry. I don't know. My dog was sick. I don't know, whatever it is. And I'll be there on Monday. Fine. Boom. Dead.
That's my point. Yeah. Yep. So it's now become the story in Yanks camp until he's there, and then for a couple days after he's there. There's no way to avoid that. That's my point. And maybe that doesn't matter, and it's a little spicy. It's a little fun. But, you guys are the ones in the clubhouse. Every single day, before and after your workouts, there are a billion people in the clubhouse, right? And every single question is that, right? Because, Todd, you've dealt with this in New York in the past, right? I'm picking on you because you played for the Yanks and the Mets. But, New York media sometimes is fun, and there's pros because New York players will get more attention. There's cons. There are reporters that will just keep going and asking and asking. So now every day you're showing up to camp for the first week of camp. Majority of the questions in the clubhouse are going to be about a teammate who's not there. And there's not really enough reasoning for why he's not there. And it's going to be on the paper headlines. If people even read papers like that anymore, it's going to be on the website headlines. So would it bother you at all as a teammate that you have to go in and answer questions about this dude who's making a statement but not fully saying it, so everyone else has to answer for him right now?
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't bother me. Would it bother others? Yeah, probably. But excuse me, I don't know. Yeah, it's unheard of, but he has every right to do what he wants. So, yeah, it probably bother a bunch of people. But for me, you take it and answer it. If somebody wanted to answer a question and say, hey, he's here now and he's ready to go, we can move on, hopefully. So
I know you guys didn't spend a lot of time in the minor leagues, but dudes will get optioned down. And the rule is when you get optioned, it's 72 hours from the time you get optioned. When you get optioned down, especially if you're a prospect, they sit you down in the office and they're, give you the whole spiel. And then they say, hey, you know what, though? We want you to get those at Bs. We want you to get this going again. You'll be in the lineup tomorrow right away down in Scranton for the Yankees, down in Lehigh for the Phillies. And there were some dudes who were pissed about getting sent down.
Yep.
They got sent down at like 3:30. 72 hours later at 3:29, they would show up in the clubhouse. Some organizations would take it very seriously. Others would be like, hey, cool. It was your right. Go for it.
Yep.
Right. Okay. We'll see. To be continued. We'll see how it goes in camp. I mean, the Yankees want to trade him. The problem is he's got 2 years left on a contract, and it's just tough to get teams to take on money. It is. I think he's good rotation member. He should be a starter in a rotation, and that could be with the Yankees.
He can help a lot of teams. He can help a lot of teams.
Is he better than Pivetta?
No.
At $4 million, nobody's better than Pivetta.
Right. But I'm just getting the money back for you so I can make sure I'm accurate on this one. There's still good coin left. 2 years. 37. There was a vesting option. So, yeah, there's 2 years. I'm trying to get what the number. Why can't I get the number? But there's 2 years left. Oh, he's making 18 and a half. And then he's making 18 in 26. So 2 years, $36.5 million left. It's tough. You're going to have to, this is where the trades get difficult. You're going to have to eat money. We didn't even get to this part, and we should. Maybe we can just do it right here because we're waiting on Logan O'Hoppe. Nolan Arenado, tough to trade. Why? Because you have to start telling another ownership group that they need to eat money on a player. And that's where the owner ego cheapness stuff gets involved. I'm not eating money on that contract. That's what happens on those phone calls, right? The front office says, hey, if we eat half of this, we can do this right now. And I like this prospect. No freaking way. I'm not giving Joe Blow owner over there some money back. That's a real thing, AJ. We all know that, right?
Oh, 100% it's a real thing. Of course it's a real thing. That's why, what was it, the Mets got a better prospect when they ate more money of Verlander or Scherzer when they sent him to Texas. They got Acuna's brother. Like, that was what the argument was about. Like, we're trading him to Texas, but what kind of prospect can we get? Because it all depends on how much money you eat.
Yeah, the Mets ate a lot of money in the Verlander and Scherzer trades. They ended up getting Acuna, who's going to be, I think, a nice part of the big league club. Mm-hmm. They got multiple players in that Astros deal that I think could be helpful as well. It was Clifford and Gilbert, I think, were the two outfielders that were the ones that are standing out so far in that trade. So anyway, on Arenado, while we have a moment, I mean, at this point, he's a Cardinal, right? Boston was his number one, it sounded like. It's going to be tricky to try and get him somewhere. He's going to at least be at camp. And at this point, AJ, we've officially ruled out Boston unless the Red Sox are suddenly traded for Arenado too. So there you go, Nightingale. Arenado crossed off Boston list. Tigers and Cubs were the other finalists for Bregman. Blue Jays were never in, and Bregman wasn't going back to Houston. So for Arenado purposes, does Chicago still have interest if they're not feeling like Matt Shaw's ready? Does Detroit have interest if they don't like their mix of third base options?
I guess. But are they going to want to pick him up at the money? It's all going to come down to the money. I don't know.
And will he go there?
That's the other thing. He has all the power. So again, they had him traded. He just said no. They had him in Houston. It was done, remember? And then he's like, nope, I don't want to go there. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully he enjoys St. Louis because he's probably going to be there to start the year unless something crazy happens.
Maybe the Angels.
Where's Moncada play?
Moncada. Come on. Stop.
They paid him $5 million in guaranteed money.
It's all guaranteed, baby.
Don't get AJ started.
Let's break for a
It's
sec.
all
We'll be right back.
guaranteed.
Either with O'Hoppe or we'll go over another signing that was smaller that we missed from later yesterday. Here we are. Did you guys see the quote from Francisco Alvarez? I think we are better than the Dodgers lineup.
I'm glad he thinks that. I'm glad he believes that.
Are you supposed to believe that? Are you supposed to?
You are.
Do you guys have a
I
problem
love
with a teammate saying this? Would it bother you if a teammate says we're better than this other team? Because, I mean, it fires up fans. It's fun.
No, nobody cares. It depends on who it is. There's times there's certain people would say stuff and you're just like, it's so-and-so just being dumb. Or it's just the way they are. And that's good. Listen, I got no problem with Francisco Alvarez saying this. You're supposed to believe you're better. The Mets are supposed to believe they're better than everybody. When you go get a Juan Soto, you have Lindor, bring back Alonso, right? Alvarez can stay healthy. He can hit you 25 jacks in the year. So, I mean, I have no problem. I actually kind of like it. What did I say the other day when Aaron Boone said about the Dodgers? I want rivalries. Bring it on. Like, let's talk a little bit of trash.
Listen, he's got to have a year, bro. This guy, I mean, he kind of fizzled there at the end, man. If I'm not mistaken, he had an okay year. He needs Kratzy, say it with your chest. If you're gonna say it with your chest, you better come out banging right away. So, listen, I love the confidence. I think that's great. But, to start it off all of a sudden, okay, I mean, all right, guns blazing, here we go. If boys better back them up, because now you put a little more pressure on the Mets here again. Pressure is something the Mets don't need. They don't need all that. They have a lot of problems going on each year, day in and day out. Been a part of it. Start off like this, they better come out guns blazing.
I love it. If you're a leader as a catcher, and his energy when he was on the show last year, just his confidence and energy. If it comes from Lindor, people will be like, oh, well, that's a neat comment. Comes from a guy that's a little bit more fiery, a guy who's back there, everybody's looking at. I think it means a lot. And I think that every one of the dudes in that clubhouse are not sitting there going, hey, bro, like, relax. No, let's get behind this. Bring the Dodgers on. We're going to take them down.
I know one thing. If he said the opposite, you guys would all be pissed. Imagine if Francisco Alvarez is like, yeah, we're good, but the Dodgers lineup's better. You guys would be like, are you kidding me? You don't say that.
I don't know. Here we go, baby.
Confidence is king.
Stirring
That's
the
right.
pot. I know Scooter loves it.
Here, we're back. There's a John Brebbia signing. Tigers, 1-year contract, club option for 26, base salary $2.25 million. The option for 26 is worth $4 million. Obviously, there were some other signings that overshadowed this one. Brebbia last season, 5.86 ERA and 55 1/3. But with the Braves in September, a 2.70 ERA. And it's another pitcher that front office leader with the Tigers, Scott Harris, is familiar with from his days with the Giants. Tigers keep doing this.
Yeah.
Big league contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they can continue what the Braves had for him in September, he really struggled. But from what I heard about him, the dude is like one of the funniest dudes ever. Driest humor. So, good fella. Good funny guy.
But where did he struggle?
Where did he struggle?
Where did he start the year out?
Oh, come on. I'm not gonna jump on that train.
Why not? Because Tim Hill, every guy that left, pitching wise, got better. Right?
The White Sox, for everybody who doesn't know.
Yeah, the White Sox
last year.
Yes, and a lot of their arms went elsewhere, and then they were thriving. It's a great point, AJ. So does that mean it's a signing that you feel good about because something was going on there, even with veteran arms, that caused them to struggle.
Well, I got two things. One, he's going to have an unbelievable beard. And two, I think this helps. He's another veteran in the back end of the bullpen that he usually throws a lot. So he can be a back end guy, and he's going to have an unbelievable beard.
We need his beard on the show. Let's get this done. He's a Tiger. He's a Tiger now. Let's get this done.
As in, we need to get him on the show?
Or just his beard, whichever.
One of you guys can probably get John Brebbia's number. Otherwise, I will text or send him a DM, and we'll work on that. But now when we look at the bullpen for the Tigers, it's not just young pups. There's actually quite a few veterans. I guess Kenta Maeda is going to be part of the bullpen. I mean, he certainly didn't have it to be a starter with them last year. That was, I think, their big money signing from 2 years ago. But Brebbia enters the fold. Will Vest was great for them. Tyler Holton, great. Bo Brisky, great. Jason Foley, great. They signed Tommy Kahnle. It's a pretty good bullpen. Sean Gunther obviously was a factor great late for them. I mean, that's the group they have right now listed here on Fangraphs. I mean,
Brendan
they
Hennepy.
did have – yeah, exactly. They did work there. All right, we're going to step aside. Logan O'Hoppe's ready. Be right back. Playmakers Classic coming up. Want to shout it out. If you're in the Arizona area and you didn't get yourselves some tickets, you can still do that. Playerstrust.org is the spot. And the Playmakers Classic live auction is open right now. So hit up playerstrust.com. .org. And that live auction includes bidding on a Derek Jeter autographed bat. Actually, can you say it, Todd?
Derek Jeter, number 2.
Autographed bat. Tickets to the next Super Bowl, which apparently is 60, or an exclusive House of Brown wine tasting experience. If you're age eligible, proceeds support the MLB Players Trust, which makes an impact in communities around the country and support a lot of the charity and initiatives that the players have, charities and initiatives the players have. So get more info there. The event is February 18th. Coming back in about a minute here with Logan O'Hoppe. Going to chat with him about what's going on at Angels camp. Here we go. We've got Angels catcher Logan O'Hoppe. You're in camp, dude. We checked in throughout the offseason. Now here you are. Great Kratz hats there too. But yeah, we love that.
Made it. Hey, look at Kratz. Hell yeah. How are you
There
guys?
you go,
Thanks for
Kratz.
having me.
We're
Yeah, happy
good.
to finally be out of the cold weather.
Dude, great to see you. You look like you're glowing now with the sunshine hitting the face, the whole deal. So actually, my first question is, I heard that the facility now is banging. So can you give us the lowdown?
Yeah.
Oh, we got pictures. Give us the lowdown, because this was highly anticipated for years. And I said this on yesterday. So I truly think this is going to change the way player development works there. So, but you tell me.
Yeah, 100%. It's been sick being here. Makes it even better being down in camp. Everyone's obviously pretty excited, but hop into a clubhouse like that and facilities like that, it's pretty cool. And more importantly than anything, in my opinion, I think it gives the younger guys something to work up towards as well. Like the young guys here in camp, but they come and see it, they want to be more of a part of it, and I think that's huge. So, I mean, it's always great coming to spring. Everyone's excited, but all the more reason to now.
Wait, so the young guys would come over to big league camp and they didn't want to lift in a tent?
I wasn't here for any of that. But yeah, this is a much better setup than anything we've had before. That's for sure.
What's your favorite part? Because Mike Frostad sent me those. Frosty, your head trainer. You don't see the trainer because you always stay 100% healthy, but he sent me those pics. He sent me some of his favorite things. What's your favorite thing that you're like, whoa, we're kind of big league down here now?
My favorite thing is the clubhouse, for sure. It's an awesome setup. Got a bunch of space. It's not crammed, and everything's flowing pretty well. So that's the best spot in my opinion.
All right, who's your locker next to? I want to know, because we had an argument about locker setup. So who's your locker next to in spring?
I am moving up in the world. I have an empty locker next to me, and I am sharing that one with Kikuchi. It's me and him
wow.
back and forth. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know who I have to pay off to make that happen, but I'm happy I earned a spot next to him, and yeah, it's nice to have an extra space next to me for sure.
I tell you who you pay off. You pay off Guy. You pay off Guy. That's who you pay
exactly
off.
Who you pay off.
You need to take care of Guy. All right. So
the best.
My question is, I thought you'd be next to Darno. So where is Travis, and what's the relationship like? And have you guys talked about, like, you're like, hey, listen, I'm Logan O'Hoppe. I'm playing 140, Travis. Take your time. You get 20 this year.
Trav is, I think, 4 down from me. We're on the same wall. But it's been great picking Trav's brain, and he knows so much, and he's been through it for a while. So I talked to Trav probably the most out of anybody in the offseason from the second he had reached out to me and told me that he signed with us. So yeah, I mean, those conversations have continued, and I don't think it's ever going to end.
But is that your empty locker? Because I always had this argument with people. Like, whose empty locker is that? Because Kikuchi's got, like, he needs at least some space for $66 million of things that he got in the offseason. So do you consider that yours? And does he sit there and, like, draw a tape line down the middle and say, hey, make sure you stay on your half?
No, we haven't talked about that, but considering that he punched my ticket, I think 4 or 5 times, maybe more than that last year, that's his space for sure. So I'm going to let him have that one.
You just hang your jeans up in there? Only your jeans and your polo shirt, because you're definitely wearing a polo.
Did you come through today? I don't know if you know what's going on already, or Frosty gave you too much info, but that's exactly what's happened. My street clothes are in that empty one, right pressed against mine.
Listen,
I
know how to get stuff done here, Hop. Okay,
it's unbelievable.
Hop, you had a couple off-season signings here recently. Kenley Jansen, 1 year, $10 million. How excited are you to see what he has behind the plate? See that cut piece, hitting him. I know we've all hit him. It's hard to hit. So now catching it. Talk a little bit about him and what he's going to bring to the table.
Yeah, I haven't heard that it's official around here yet. So hypothetically, if we were to sign him, it would be pretty great. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting the chance to do it. And yeah, I'm happy I don't have a bat in my hand anymore, because that was an uncomfortable at bat last year for sure. And having that presence around of a guy that's done it, especially for the guys in the bullpen, is going to be huge. And I'm excited to see what they learn as well. And I think we'll all be better because of it.
Logan, we have a kind of running joke on this show that it's White Sox West or Braves West, however you want to look at it. I mean, you guys have a ton of ex-Braves guys. You have a ton of ex-White Sox guys. What's it like going in there seeing guys like Tim Anderson, Yoel Moncada, and then Sal Fasano's there now, right? I mean, you got Wash, you got Bo Porter, you got Eric Young Sr. I mean, it's like, man, the Angels are going back to their roots here. So what's it like looking at these guys and trying – forget the White Sox because they stink. I love Tim Anderson. Moncada's there now. But let's talk about the Braves, right? They want me to dig into the White Sox, but the Braves have won. The Braves have been good. So what's it like having that kind of air over your camp now?
Yeah, you said it. Being around guys that have done it and won is the biggest thing. I think anyone that comes from any team that's won before, you want to get around guys like that. And we're lucky to have a few of them. Obviously, Sal being here and Trav Wash and everybody else that was over in Atlanta. It's a lot of experience, and grateful to have guys like that because we do ask a lot of questions and we do ask what was it like and how do we get there and how can we improve this and huge value to our clubhouse as a whole. And hoping we can do that ourselves one day so then we could just keep building off one another.
Has Sal gone on his diatribe about how – I know he's working with pitchers, but has he gone on his diatribe about how he had 9 different ways to block home plate? Or is Sal Fasano kept silent so far in spring training?
Haven't heard that yet. Learned a lot from Sal already on some different things behind the plate, whether it be receiving or just working through bullpens and things like that. But I'm going to ask him about that tomorrow because it's pretty impressive 9 ways. I don't know if we can do all 9 anymore with the new rules, so I'm interested to see what he has to say.
Yeah, you can't anymore, but it's still worth it to listen to. You might need a meal to listen to it. Have you seen Rendon at all in practice? We just heard that he got he got hip surgery. Did he come through the facility before that, like during y'all's physicals or anything?
Not all the position players are here yet. Haven't seen a lot of guys yet. But I talked to Tony a little bit in the offseason. Obviously, tough news to hear that with all of us in that room yesterday, I think it was. So we're going to support him every way we can.
Did you hear? During the offseason, did he say, hey, man, my hip's just been – some things you're like, the offseason's coming. You're like, okay, I'm going to build this up. I'm going to try to, push this out, try to help this. Did he ever mention anything like that, how that, his hip was bugging him and it just came to a head where he needed surgery here in the end of the offseason?
No, I hadn't heard anything from him. Knowing Tony, he's always working on his body and doing the work to do it. So there weren't any signs. Last season, it was just him going about his work the right way, getting himself back. So no, I hadn't heard anything. And like I said, obviously tough to hear, and we'll be there for him every chance we can.
I don't know if you saw, I know it's a different team, but Marcus Stroman hasn't shown up to camp yet. He did his physical. He didn't show up to camp yet because a rule that I didn't know, you don't have to show up until February 22nd. If one of your teammates doesn't show up till February 22nd, are you sitting there, because we had a big debate and argument, are you sitting there going, why is that dude not here? Or this is a distraction? Because we had both sides of the spectrum when we were talking about the argument.
I think it's dependent on the situation and the dude. Obviously things happen, and as much as I love this game and as much as I love being here, I know in my case, hypothetically speaking, if something were to happen to my family or God forbid anything super important like that happened, then that would take the priority. And I know things happen with different guys, so I think it's dependent on the situation. So I don't have a clear-cut answer on it because I know things do happen.
All right. Well, good stuff, Logan.
Wait, Logan, how many bullpens? How many bullpens have you caught so far?
Ray Montgomery, our bench coach, has been taking care of me. So I had 2 on day 0, 2 yesterday, and then 1 today. So got a lighter load now.
You already got that vet status, huh? Got that vet status.
I ran myself into the ground enough last year that I'm learning that less is more sometimes. So I'm trying to keep this body in shape.
You probably caught Anderson. Let me guess, you caught Tyler Anderson. You probably caught Kikuchi. Because I saw a picture of Kikuchi with Darno standing there watching. So he clearly wasn't catching him. So I think you must have caught Kikuchi, right? You just get the veteran.
I did yesterday, yeah. I was here February 2nd, and a couple guys were here already. So I got some guys before camp even started. So yeah, I'm familiar with just about all of them. And Yeah, I haven't caught Joyce yet. I heard you guys throwing Joyce's name around, but I'm living with him, so I've spent plenty of time with him.
Okay, good. I mean, that's the name. That's the one that everyone wants to see on the national stage. Obviously, there's a billion. We're excited about
Boys,
it.
this guy in the kitchen is insane. Like this guy eats so much food. It is sickening. So I'm keeping up with him the best I can, but it's crazy. It is crazy.
What does he eat? How much does he eat?
Wait,
Just give us a little bit.
All right,
We don't
just
have time.
give 20
I'm living with
seconds,
Joyce.
and then I'm going to write it down for next time.
All right, real quick. I mean, I'm happy we're talking about the important stuff now. Me, Joyce, and Kate and Dana are living together. We each crushed a ribeye and some sides the other night, and then all of us split 2 pounds of ground beef afterwards. And I think I'm still full from it. So we're working hard.
Wow,
bro.
Okay.
You guys better have that damn good weight room to work it off.
Yeah, but that's good
Seriously.
beef. That's
all
good
good.
beef. All right, we're gonna ask you. I'm putting it down
No doubt.
next time. I want to get the meal plan from an average day of Ben Joyce. So be ready for next time.
Done.
We'll catch you in a couple weeks. Okay.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you,
Pictures
Logan.
too.
Yeah. Ooh.
See you guys. Thanks.
Scooter, you could do that.
BetMGM Futures, we've got Anthony Volpe stolen bases at 25.5. Who we got over, under? Who we got over, under? Todd Frazier. Over or under for Anthony Volpe, who you watch a lot of.
Over by a lot. I'm going to say
By a lot?
By 35, 40 range. I like this. I would take this bet right now.
Okay. 28 last year in a full season. He played the whole year. Kratz is putting his thumb up. So that means over. And he's played full season, both of his first 2 seasons too. You guys all.
He's out there all the time.
Yeah, he is.
Whether he hits 212 or 280, he's out there all the time. He's going to run. He's always looking to run.
Why is BetMGM doing this to us then, AJ?
I don't know. They know a lot.
Doesn't make sense. That's what scares you a little bit about this whole thing is like because it seems like an easy over.
Free money.
You think it's that much of a lock? Is this a 5-star lock, Kratz?
No, I can't take any. I can't take any just because of the I word. Anytime somebody can miss time, but this he's a pup. He's a baby, but now he's learning to hit. He's going to get on base a little bit more. I feel like there's improvement there, and he's going to learn who to steal off of and when to steal.
Okay. I'm going to go under.
Wow. Okay. I think he hits 30. I think he gets 30.
Say it with your chest.
30.
Say it with your chest.
I think he gets under. I'm going to obviously factor
There
in the
you
I word.
go.
He's been healthy. The on-base percentage is sub 300 last year. Runs into a little trouble. Yes, the whole reason why the stolen base numbers are lower is because stolen base guys get hurt more because they're running to second. And I know it's not as injury prone as it used to be, but it's a thing, and that's got to be what they're factoring in. So I'm doing it. I'm not touching this one, but I'm going under. Download the BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS, Android. Visit betmgm.com if you're old school and hitting the computer. Bonus code's FOUL, FOUL. First wager up to $1,500 back in bonus bets. If that wager loses, if it wins, you win. If it loses, your bonus bets come your way once your initial wager is settled. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We have another quote from Aaron Boone about the story that's dominating Yankees camp today and really the whole baseball scene just because it's something many people weren't aware of. All right, let's slap. We've got another quote from Aaron Boone because I'm telling you, this is New York media. They're just not going to stop asking about this. On the absence, quote, "Of course I want him here. I'm trying to keep nudging him to get here. But again, you also have to respect the fact that this is something that players are allowed to do. There is a mandatory date of February 22nd, and he's choosing that right now. Okay, end quote. I'll also add this because I forgot about this and some fans pointed this out in the chat. He did unfollow the Yankees in the offseason. Again, silly, petty, whatever. But I think it was Boone who spoke and said, oh, he just does his like normal scrub through his Instagram and like, you know, he's following too many things. So he unfollows stuff. So I'm like, so he unfollowed the Yanks. This is what I'm talking about. You put a player, AJ, in you put a manager and others in an uncomfortable org. He unfollowed the Yanks. Just say it with your chest. I unfollowed the Yanks. I'm pissed off. I don't want to be in trade rumors. Or maybe I do, and I want them to get this done.
Say something. Please just
dance around it.
Just say something. I don't know. I mean, haven't heard him speak yet, and now Aaron Boone's caught in the middle of it. I mean, this is what we were talking about, especially in New York. It's just going to keep going, keep going, keep going.
I actually think Boone's being pretty straightforward here, Kratz. He's not covering much for him. He's like, I'm telling him to come here, and he's not coming yet.
Totally. He's not giving him an excuse. He's just telling his side of it and what he knows. He said it was awkward, or it is awkward. It is. It's awkward. Good for Boone. I think Boone's handled this well. And who knows? How do you know when somebody unfollows? Like, can you tell when somebody unfollows you?
Me personally, no, but there are people who are talented online.
No, he took it out of his bio, I think. I thought he took it out of his bio is what they said. Like, we're, like.
Like he's,
like, pitcher for the New York Yankees. I think that's what he did. I don't think he unfollowed him. I think he took it out of his bio.
Either way, there's like an unfollow app or something that people use. It's a perfect high school tool to see if, your favorite friend suddenly unfollowed you and they're mad about something.
Because you didn't pass on the rock in the big game last night.
That's right. Unfollow.
Take my girl. Unfollow.
Got him.
Looking at the Bregman signing on your phone, causing Papelbon to be late to his appearance on FT because the principal called and said, why does your kid like baseball news? Why is he paying attention to FT? Feel like we need to make an IOU for him or something. We got to give him, what is it, a hall pass? A principal?
It's a bad excuse. It's a bad excuse. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's something else. Something else happened to his kid. Not there ain't no way.
That looks like he just woke up.
He's covering up. He's covering his kid up, I think.
Don't leave. We're still here. A few more minutes and some little nuggets. Farhan Zaidi is coming up on Dodgers territory. I'm looking forward to that one because we got to talk to him before this news. Now he's officially back, part of the Dodgers / the ownership group that controls other teams too. So I'm curious to see what the dynamic is between what he does with the Dodgers versus everything else. And Ken Rosenthal's coming on the show tomorrow, so we'll go over some of these signings from today. He also addressed them on Fair Territory, so I highly encourage that for anyone that missed anything. Ken and Alana really went into the Bregman news. And, of course, at the top of the show, we did the same thing. Kratz hats, what do you got for us?
We saw it already, but had to wear it for my guy O'Hoppe.
Nice.
Beautiful. Like the patch. So it's a clean hat. Didn't do anything crazy, but
no.
The new mesh this year isn't the see-through or whatever that was last year that would make bald guys have dots on their head as they were going through spring training. So it's a full hat.
Right. There's no bald nudity at the top.
No trucker hat like Scott likes to wear at the club.
Hair up it. You don't cover that hair up. You don't cover that up ever.
Do you know where
How
your
often
children
do I
are?
wear hats?
Do you know where your children are? Do you know where your children are?
Todd Father's listening.
I love it.
It's a good song, right?
It is. And your voice is perfect because it's kind of like nasally and stuff. It's great.
It's like the old school broadcaster kind of sound. That's what they were going for. If you don't know, there's a song called Do You Know Where Your Children Are? It's available on Apple and Spotify, and my voice.
Nice plug. Nice plug.
Yeah. It's Chris Lake and Chris Lorenzo. So check it out.
Sick.
Check it out.
And Scott Braun. Do you know where your children are?
I didn't think that's where we were going with this for the extra 2 minutes that we had, but it's really a perfect transition to Dodgers territory, which, as Farhan Zaidi, who probably is not that interested in the song, but it is what it is. Good show today. Thank you, Winter Meetings, for happening on February 12th. Is that when Winter Meetings were, AJ?
11th. The 11th.
The 11th. Okay. Just checking because, signings were a little bit late here.